Christopher Walworth.
Mr. Fitzpatrick, if you'd like, you're welcome to utilize that podium there, sir.
So getting used to the quorum, Judge. Sorry.
Understood. Now, this is the matter of the people against Christopher Walrath, indictment 25035, calendar for possible disposition here this morning. I do have a number of requests from local news media to cover today's proceedings. Any objection, counsel?
No objection, Judge.
Thank you, Mr. Fitzpatrick.
No, Your Honor.
And the court will permit the same. As I said, the matter is calendared today. It's the court's understanding that the parties may now have arrived at an agreed-upon disposition. And I'll just begin by noting it's my understanding further, Mr. Fitzpatrick, that this disposition's been arrived at after you have considered the various levels of culpability of the co-defendants involved in this case, and you believe the proposed disposition is appropriate for this specific defendant's level of culpability, and further that this offer has been extended only after consultation with and having received agreement from the victim's family. Do I have that right?
You have everything correct, Your Honor.
So let me state my complete understanding of the proposal then. That is that the defendant would be pleading guilty to count 2 of the indictment that charges the felony offense of manslaughter in the first degree, and the agreed upon sentence would then be 15 years in state prison along with 5 years post-release supervision, a waiver of appeal, and mandatory state surcharges, and that would satisfy the remaining count contained in this indictment. Is that the people's understanding?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Kafruti, that's your understanding?
Yes, it is, Your Honor.
Mr. Walrath, is that your understanding of the proposal to resolve these charges, and is that what you want to do here today?
Yes, sir.
Please raise your right hand. Sir, do you now swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
You may put your hand down. Mr. Walrath, I'm going to ask you some questions now. These are to help me decide if I can accept your plea or not. So if at any time you do not hear a question, you do not understand, or you need a moment to stop and speak further with your attorney, then you have to let me know that, okay?
Sir.
Do you understand by answering my questions and pleading guilty here this morning, you're giving up your right to remain silent and to not incriminate yourself?
Yes.
Have you spoken with your attorney about your case, about pleading guilty, and thereby waiving your right to have a trial?
Yes.
Are you satisfied with the services of your attorney?
Yes.
Have you had enough time now to speak with your attorney about your case?
Yes.
The charge you are to plead guilty to pursuant to this agreement is count 2 of this indictment. It charges you with the felony offense of manslaughter in the first degree. That is in violation of penal law sections 125.20 subdivision 1 and also 20.00 as you are charged under an accomplice liability theory. It's alleged here that on or about the 9th day of December 2024, while you were here in the county of Oneida in the town of Marcy, you, along with your co-defendants, acting in concert with each other, being corrections officers, and intending to cause serious physical injury to another person, you did cause the death of that person, that being that you, along with your co-defendants, participated in multiple beatings of incarcerated individual Robert Brooks, which ultimately resulted in that individual's death. Do you admit that all to be true?
Yes.
Mr. Fitzpatrick, did you want anything further for the elocution?
A few series of questions with the court's permission.
You may go right ahead.
Mr. Walworth, you were assigned to work in the Arsenal area of Marcy Correctional Facility on December the 9th, 2024. Is that correct?
Yes.
Did you leave your post inside of the Arsenal area on December the 9th against departmental policy and procedures upon the arrival of Robert Brooks?
Yes.
Did you and your fellow corrections officers, Nicholas Kiefer, Nicholas Anzalone, and Robert Kessler, assault Robert Brooks outside of the Arsenal on December the 9th, 2024?
Yes.
During that assault, did you put Robert Brooks in a chokehold against departmental policy and procedure?
Yes.
On December the 9th, while in the emergency room of the Marcy Correctional Facility, did you and other corrections officers assault Robert Brooks?
Yes.
During that assault, did you strike Robert Brooks about his body?
Yes.
And did you intentionally strike him in his groin?
Yes.
Were you aware at that time that striking an incarcerated individual in the groin is against departmental policy and procedure?
Yes.
Is it correct that you never reported the use of force that was used on Robert Brooks near the Arsenal area at Marcy Correctional?
Yes.
Is it correct that you never reported the use of force that was used on Robert Brooks in the emergency room at Marcy Correctional?
Yes.
You were aware, sir, were you not, that you were required to report any and all uses of force on an incarcerated individual, whether justified or not?
Yes.
And nevertheless, you lied about the use of force used on Robert Brooks on December the 9th, 2024.
Yes.
And sir, at the emergency room, you did nothing to prevent the assault or protect Mr. Brooks. Is that correct?
Correct.
And you realize that these repeated assaults caused serious physical injury to Mr. Brooks and resulted in his death.
Yes.
People are satisfied, Your Honor.
Thank you, counsel. Mr. Walrath, how then do you plead to the second count, manslaughter in the first degree, guilty or not guilty?
Guilty.
How old are you now, Mr. Walrath?
36.
And you can read and write the English language, correct?
Yes.
You're a citizen of the United States?
Yes.
Do you have any physical or mental problems that could prevent you from understanding what you're doing here today?
No.
Did you consume any kind of drug, medicine, or alcohol before coming to court that could affect your understanding?
No.
You're not currently on any form of probation or parole, are you?
No.
By pleading guilty, you are giving up your right to have a jury trial. Do you understand that?
Yes.
At a jury trial, you would be presumed innocent and you would be entitled to the following rights: to be represented by your attorney, to confront and cross-examine witnesses presented by the government. You'd have the right to remain silent and not incriminate yourself. You would have the right, but would not be required, to call witnesses, or you could testify on your own behalf. You would also have the right to require the government to prove your guilt beyond a reasonable doubt to a jury of 12 people who would have to be unanimous in finding you guilty. Do you understand? You have each of these rights, and by pleading guilty here today, you're giving up each of these rights.
Yes.
You understand by pleading guilty, you're also giving up any defense you might have to these charges.
Yes.
Now, a plea of guilty is the same as a verdict of guilty rendered by a jury after a trial. Do you understand that?
Yes.
Other than the plea and sentence agreement I spoke of earlier, has anyone made any other promises to get you to plead guilty?
No.
Did anyone threaten you or force you to plead guilty?
No.
Have you entered this plea today voluntarily and of your own choice?
Yes.
You understand that those that are incarcerated for a felony conviction do lose their right to vote in an election until such time as they are released.
Yes.
And now lastly, sir, part of your negotiated plea here does require that you waive your right to appeal. As a defendant in this court, if convicted, you have a separate and distinct right to appeal a judgment of conviction to a higher court in Rochester known as the Appellate Division. There you can, with your attorney, and a free one if you cannot afford it. You can file a brief and argue before that court that there exists some problem with your conviction here in this court. That is a right you have. It's also a right you can waive or give up, and it is being required that you waive your right to appeal on condition I give you the sentence promised to you. That means your conviction and sentence in this court will likely be final, so there's then little you can do to go back after the fact to try and change that. You will have thereby significantly limited your options for appeal in the future. Do you understand?
Yes.
Have you spoken with your attorney about waiving your right to appeal?
Yes, I have.
Do you then agree to waive your right to appeal on condition I give you the sentence promised?
Yes.
And are you doing so voluntarily?
Yes.
I'm holding up for you a document entitled Waiver of Right to Appeal. Halfway down the page, I see the signature Christopher Walrath. Did you sign this document here after reading through it and reviewing it with your attorney?
Yes.
Based upon the defendant's statements and his demeanor here in court, I find the knowing voluntary plea with a factual basis. I will direct the clerk to enter the plea into the minutes of this court to adjourn sentence on this.
July 16th.
Your Honor, it was my understanding that the people were not going to object to our request to have the sentencing take place on August 1st.
I know you did need that vote. You don't have any objection to going out there?
No, August 1st is a Friday, Judge. I don't know if counsel prefers August 4th, which is a Monday. And we have no objection to him remaining out, getting his affairs in order, and I've also discussed that with the family.
We appreciate that, and we would prefer the 4th.
All right, then. August 4th at 9:30 a.m. for sentencing. And you're going to remain out on the bond that you posted, Mr. Walrath, but that's going to be with some conditions attached as part of our plea agreement here. Condition 1 is you do have to meet and cooperate truthfully with the probation department as they prepare your pre-sentence investigation. Condition 2, you have to come back to the court on any date you're required to be here. As of right now, you know that's August 4th at 9:30 in the morning to be sentenced. The third condition is you must commit no offenses. There are to be no new arrests of any kind between now and the time of your sentencing. Do you understand each of those conditions?
Yes.
If you fail to abide by one or more of those conditions, I would not be bound by the sentence agreement. I would not permit you to withdraw your plea, and I would be authorized to sentence you to any term my law permits. You understand that?
Yes.
You can speak.